Hi all. Today let's see how we can enable the extended diagnostics in an Angular application. So the extended diagnostics was basically introduced in Angular 13. This consists of a set of rules which helps us to fix some common mistakes that developers make during the development process. So here I have created an Angular 13 application and I have built a simple form which has an input field to which I am binding the field title. So it has the value sample app. So here I have bound it to the ngModel for the two-way binding and I am displaying the value here. But when I run the application, you can see that the value of the title is not bound to our input box. So what happened? So on a closer look, you can see that actually the syntax of the ngModel, it is wrong. So ideally it should be the other way around. Like the square bracket should come outside and the symbol bracket should come inside. But Angular did not report any error for this, since this is also a valid syntax, like it is a event handler which basically bounds to this particular variable called ngModel, which is within a square bracket. So in order to fix this common kind of error, the extended diagnostics were introduced. So how can we enable that? So first we need to go to the tsconfig, and in this we need to enable the strict templates true in the Angular compiler options. So once we have done that, we get a kind of warning here which states that the two-way binding syntax is wrong and it should be the other way around. So this is the extended diagnostics, and there are currently two errors which are supported in the extended diagnostics. One is the ngModel syntax error. So here you can see that even though the error is reported, it is still a warning only. So let's try to build the application one more time and see whether any error occurs, or is it just a warning which can be ignored. So on restarting the application, you can see that there is a warning listed during the build. When we go to our application, you can see that it is still running. The developer might not notice this and he might spend some time debugging this issue. So is there any way we can break the build in case such an error happens? For that, we can introduce a key called extended diagnostics within the Angular compiler options. And there we have a key called default category, which we can set it as error. So there are three values which are possible. One is error, other is warning, and other is the suppress. So in case you need to suppress it, you can give the value suppress, and the default, as you saw earlier, it is warning in case nothing is given. So here I am giving it as error. So now when we go to our HTML, immediately you can see that the color has changed to red and it is being shown as an error. But we need to restart our application again so that it will display the updated tsconfig. So now you can see that the build has actually broken and our application will also break. So the extended diagnostics helped us in finding this particular error, and now I have given the correct syntax for ngModel and our application is working as expected. Now let's take a look at the second error which is being tracked by the extended diagnostics. So it is basically the null coalescing operator. So here for the title, actually I am using the nullish coalescing operator, and in case the title is null, I am trying to provide a default value. So the problem with this is that the title, as you see, it is already initialized and it will never be null. So since we have initialized it, this is a redundant null check. So that is what the second diagnostic informs us. The left side of this nullish coalescing operation does not include null or undefined in its type. So it's basically saying that we can remove the safety check here. For this diagnostic to be enabled, we need to have the strict null checks value, that is a key within the compiler options of the tsconfig. It should be set as true, which is the default value. So in case I turn this off, you can see that immediately the error is gone and the application will not check for any null values. So for emitting this diagnostic, the strict null check should be enabled. So I'm removing this so that it is enabled by default. So how can we fix this issue? So in current scenario, since we have initialized this value, we can safely remove this, the nullish coalescing check, and the error goes away. But in case we had not initialized this value and defined it as a string, let's try to bring the nullish coalescing operator back, and you can see that again the error is there. So in order to fix that, we need to say that it is either string or null. Now once we put the null type also here, immediately the error goes away. So now I have reverted the code back so that the title will have an initial value, and here I have added the null check. So again it is failing. So suppose we have a scenario like currently there are two types of errors which we can detect using the extended diagnostics. So here we have given the default category as error for both, but there can be scenarios in which we might need to suppress one of them, or maybe we can reduce the severity of the error. So how can we do that? So for that, we have a key called checks within the extended diagnostics, and here you can give the name of the rule. So one is the invalid banana in box, which is related to the ngModel, and the other is the nullish coalescing, not nullable. So in case you need to reduce the severity of this to warning, you can just assign it as warning, and immediately you can see that the severity has been reduced. Similarly, if you need to suppress it, you can give it so, and the error is no longer reported. So hope you are able to get a good idea about how we can enable the extended diagnostics in Angular and what are the different types of errors which are tracked by it. Angular will be adding new error messages in the upcoming releases. See you soon. Thank you.